should be screwed. Sorry, my dog's heard something. Okay, sorry. So we are here. Let me blow my nose. Oh. Sorry, hold on. My girl Quinn, he wanted to come up. Okay. So looking at this team, we can see kind of where I left off. So we obviously tried Machamp for like a match. It was okay, I guess. Something to think about is basically, so I do have this Alone Ninetales here. I think that we could change it potentially to be like Scarf Ninetales, and then Blizzard, Icy Wind, Moonblast, Freeze Dry, or like something, you know, something like that. But it's something to think about. I mean, I do think that Whimsicott with the Tailwind Scarf Rock Slide has been pretty good. Technically, Garchomp is just inherently faster than Charizard, I'm pretty sure, so it's like, you know, you're not really worried about that. But, what was I trying to say? So, I kind of feel like it's either like Ninetales or something like Goodra Hisui, or what I've been kind of overlooking this whole time is Orthworm, right? And obviously Orthworm and Scarf Garchomp synergize well. So, if I did want to lean into that, that is something I could do. So, let's just kind of see how this feels for now. And then we'll figure it out from there. Alright, we got a good train. We hide our name here. So obviously one of the concerns is that, you know, they have to try to counter me, I have to try to counter them. Standard story, of course. But, I'm wondering if I do this. Because technically I do think that we're getting good benefit out of the weather here. I just think we need to be careful around Basque. And they can only have so many things with Scarf, right? So I think that this lead feels relatively safe. Like, the way that I'm pretty sure this team is built is like Sash, Glamora, and Scarf Chump. Or I mean Scarf Basque Legion. So they can only do so many things. Protect, Tailwind. If they go for Protect, Moonblast, I do think that encoring them into Moonblast would be my best play. Okay, so they are EV to live it. So technically, I think my best play, I can actually bring out, if I wanted, like, Ninetales. They just have good switch-ins, right? So, I feel like this is a good play, kind of. Yeah, so that does not surprise me. Nice, so that should be GG. So we go for the Blizzard. I do think there's a good chance this still KOs. Yeah. They should have Basque, I think, in the back, like Charizard Basque. Yeah. So it gets a little scary for sure. Especially if it's my last turn of Tailwind. Yeah. So, we're kind of going for like a blind blizzard here, and a dark pulse. We did just reveal that they are slower, which is a pretty important consideration. I still kind of feel like this is the right play. We double connect, dude. That's crazy. Unfortunately, if they last respect KO me, then that's probably gonna just be GG's. I can't believe I'm hitting this. That's so much. So, I'm not quite sure what I would have preferred to happen there. Yeah, GG. I think my right play was actually to bring out Blastoise first. But then again, they could have just switched out. And yeah, so it's hard to say. Like, I actually think we played pretty well there. You know what I'm saying? I think technically Meowscarada would have been better there than Blastoise, which is an interesting consideration, but it is kind of the reality. So sorry, I was still thinking about the last one that I started staring off at their team. I'm just gonna start I actually think we should start like shark. Yeah, Shark Blastoise, Ninetales in the back, Meowscarada. I do think that Incineroar has some merit here, but so that is definitely scary because, like, either I'm losing to Wise Guard or I'm losing to Trick Room, right? And I have to call one or the other. Like, technically, I'd love to just click Water Spout Rock Slide, right? But, like, is it not obvious? Like, my hope is that, you know what I'm saying? But I do think it's obvious, and a good player would have Wide Guard in this situation. Yeah. So, GG. So the good play here was to obviously, you know, okay, so they Twin Beam, I respect that. So something I can do here in that case is I can Dark Pulse and just go for the Rock Slide again. Alright, good. So it's definitely getting a little scary. But I think if we just keep spamming this Rock Slide and go for the Aura Sphere is probably our best play. Yeah, so like obviously I'm scared of that. This doesn't KO, no. This probably KOs? Yeah. So, I just don't think they went for the right play with that extreme speed. Like, doesn't really make sense if you ask me. So I will say that I do think that the Scarf Ninetales could be interesting. Alright, so we got the Scary for Alligator. This is interesting. Because, like, for Alligator, Ninetales feels like it checks my whole team, doesn't it? Kind of. Like, I just don't know what to start versus it. You know what I mean? I can bring Wims. I can bring Blastoise. I can bring Meowscarada and, like, the shark. So yeah, for Alligator, Ninetales. Definitely interesting. I mean, pretty much like every one of them has Chopper out. So what I'm thinking is I go for this Water Spout to make sure that we get them low enough for Earth. Or whatever. That is scary. Yeah, so I could have called that. I don't even know if that was like the better take out there, honestly. So I don't think that they have the ability to get out of this, honestly. I do like the synergy with the citrus berry, but I didn't think about that. Alright, GG's. That was scary. That was scary. So we had to lock in sword big for them. So, I do still think that Ninetales feels like it has shown that it can do something on the team. Alright, we need to be careful here again. Shark. So we're letting them have the lane, but I think ultimately it's the right thing to do. We will start fast. And we will put tailwind. I don't really get this lead. Yeah. Johnny von Boysenberg. Big arch. Yeah, that's pretty much over already. So I don't know what exactly I was gonna say about it. I'm just still kind of wondering about the Ninetales slot, like. Because I do think that everything that we mentioned as a potential other in that slot is kind of something to think about. We talked about Gudra, Earthworm, but also just changing the move set on Ninetales could make a difference. So let's start with this. I do actually think, again, Meowscarada looks strong. And, yeah, so this is kind of why I was saying that maybe some sort of steal something coverage, or like, obviously Steve's gonna be sick, right? Like, you're really trying to cover it because Steve's there. So let's just Tailwind. Earthquake. Alright, so unfortunately we're not getting KO in this game. But we did hurt them quite a lot. I really hope they don't have protect. Alright, good. Nice. Can't hide from a Meowscarada, my G. That might just be GG's. Doing anything Gambit, I respect it. Yep. So I could have called that technically. We Earthquake ourselves, unfortunately. Oh, we got that berry. Ooh, okay, so I almost forgot that we did not get up Tailwind this game, because that actually will lose us the game. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay. So there should be pretty much no way we can win at this point. Except, I don't know. Alright, GG. So we had the turn where we could have switched out when they protected, I think. Or it was the turn when they killed Meowscarada, right? So I had a turn where I could have switched out and I did not go for it. Alright, so potentially speed swap with Drampa or Aggron. The Shark is still not a terrible lead. Blastoise. I do actually feel like I have not been using Incineroar on this team a lot. So that is something to say. So I might have wanted to try to encore them into Iron Defense, and that might be one reason why we lose this. Let me see what the rest is. I'm actually going to Dragon Claw. Oh, they got the berry. Alright. I might actually heal enough to live my hit, which is unfortunate. Yeah. They're hitting like all their Machigachas, which is annoying. Because I don't really think this Blizzard's gonna KO. But it might. If I had Sucker Punch, we'd be in a better position, unfortunately. Alright, Loki can do that. Especially with that. Not over. It's looking bad though. So what could I have done? Get that. They don't have a gun. But so I think my win con here is I mean, like, I can go for a Blizzard Freeze. I could technically disable them, but I don't want them to just click Machi Gacha, obviously. It's a good pin, good pin. Ninetales definitely was not as good there as we hoped. So, like, Ninetales did quite a lot there, but in the end, it just wasn't enough. The Blizzard spam almost got us out of some sticky situations, but I don't know what I need to do. Technically, I guess I could have targeted the Aggron the turn before with, like, low kick or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Because I would have had to lock into a different type besides that, you know. I could have got rid of the Sinistra by going for knockoff, so there is technically that. I had a turn to get rid of Sinistra, and I didn't go for it. So this is pretty scary. This is pretty much like my other team, but just a little bit more aggressive. We can start like this, technically. We can, do this. It feels a little bit awkward. It definitely does, like, because it feels like I'd really like to just bring Meowscarada. And this is actually one reason I would say why at times it feels like we're kind of gravitating towards Scarf and Ninetales. Right, because it doesn't necessarily get me out of this situation, but it would be. Okay, we're getting somewhere, just it's a little awkward right now. With that, no, wow. They get a, come on, like. Yeah, I'm out on the crit, like, because the crit just completely ends it. It doesn't matter, like, it's not, unfortunately, it's just not fair. Like, for me, just not fair. Like, there's literally nothing I can do about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the stupidest time for them to give them that too. Because technically, obviously, I could have matched Tailwinds. I could have gone for the stomping and, like, you know, made sure that didn't happen, right? But then I just lose my whims, you know, and we have to bring in Ninetales, like, or something. I do kinda like this here. You know how that got me here, whatever that is. But I wish it wasn't. Okay, I do think Meowscarada is kind of scary here. Like, we just need it to not hold us back, which is annoying. No, thank you, Vivian. If I gotta be Vivianist with you. I'll go for the love shit. this is going to be a stab low kick, so it's going to hurt. And they can't counter it with sucker punch. Let's see. Yeah, that's damage. Does ramp things up a little bit. Here's what I think I can do right now. I'm going to stomping here and switching blasters. Okay, cool. So now we get a free switch back into limbs and wait. Sorry, I know I'm being a little quiet right now. I'm just kind of thinking. But obviously we're gonna win this one. So we can do that. I also think technically like Dragapult could be good on this team. But we would be doing it basically just to deal with Sneasler, honestly. So like, I'm not gonna say that necessarily Dragapult. But I will say possibly Dragapult. I will say possibly Dragapult. Let's actually do some of this. Hey, that's a Blastoise fan monkey. You gotta make a fan out of him somewhere. Okay, nice. So they just gave me a Gengar. A Gengar. I mean, we could hypo-theoretically put a Gengar on the team. I'm not saying we couldn't, you know? Gengar is a Pokemon. We just need to find something to take out of the box for it. Definitely send back Gyarados for now. So they've given us a Gengar. Fun. Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, Focus Blast, whatever. Oh, sorry, wrong button. All right. Real question will be though, did they get Romance back? What if they had Levitate? Bro, if you could run Levitate Gengar on a Disc-Quake team, or not Disc, but like on a Quake team, I'm just saying. Give me a sec, then we'll play a couple more and then we're gonna... Alright. So I guess it is still only 12, which is nice. I've been playing till 1 recently, which is kind of wild, but like, I guess that's just the time frame that I'm on right now. I do think that Gengar might be the sauce on this team, but I want to try the worm. So the worm is kinda awkward. Like, I think Blastoise definitely matches up well. And I don't necessarily think that I don't think Gengar necessarily looks better than Orthworm in this matchup. I guess I could have just gone for it. Unfortunate. But what I can go for now is this. So we do flinch the limbs, which is nice. What I could have done is double swapped there, and I think I might be throwing my nut. So kind of on me that I let my Garchomp die last turn. This is why I double targeted. Now, I can encore them. Encore. What? It's not over. Now it's over. I mean, like, this is all I'm gonna say when I'm in situations like that. You have one too. Like, you literally have a Whimsicott with Encore, and you're playing Encore shenanigans with my Whimsicott right now. Like, so, what are we supposed to say? Sorry, there's something in mind. So I guess we would just, you know, we brought the Pokemon there, obviously. But it got a little scary. Good team alert. So this is kind of what I liked Gengar for, but Gengar still needs to be very careful. However, Orthworm looks pretty decent here. So let's start Blastoise and Whims with the worm in the back, and then Shark question mark. So, what will I say? Not bringing Garchomp could be bad here. a little annoying, but it's fine. So this is unfortunately kind of why I said I should have brought Garchomp. So they do withdraw Sneasler, which is good for me. They don't need that. We get the tailwind. Just scary, let's be honest. Now we can go for Moonblast. We go for Dark Pulse. That is so that very no one goes from I mean, the problem kinda is that, like, I need to KO them, right? So... So I'm not quite sure what to say about that one. I'd definitely be in a better position if I had, you know, beefed up my board. It is kind of unfortunate that we don't have yeah, so luckily they do that. But geez. He says me what? Jeez. So, like I said, we needed the Scarf Chomp in that matchup because the Scarf Quake pressure is kind of just hard for our opponent to beat there. So if anything it was, we would leave out Meowscarada for Scarf Chomp there, and we could technically still bring the worm, yeah. Okay. So we're definitely not worming here. Not a vermin with the worm. Vermin with the worm. This is gonna be rough, definitely. So we literally haven't used Incineroar like once today. I think that's a pretty significant point out. So unfortunately, Taunt Incineroar would have been pretty clutch there. Go for Darkest Blade. Go for this. They should have Last Resort. So no surprise. Just unfortunate. Peps here. So this play is gonna look weird, but I actually think it's a pretty good play. Because I don't expect them to click Rage Powder, they might. Yeah, that hurts. But do you have fast last resource? So unfortunately I could have gone for Water Spout. But we do get the KO there on Scovillain. I do think we're losing. Like none of these types, I guess. That's frustrating. So it does kind of feel like sometimes I wouldn't mind having a Sucker Punch. What's it called? Meowscarada. So we definitely want that. Okay, so let's try that. I do think that could be kind of interesting. Cause yeah, I mean, this is definitely a situation where we can kind of just trap them in, you know, but it also doesn't guarantee us much. And then cool. Okay. So we're just gonna go. Sludge Bomb does a good bit, but it will actually activate Citrus Berry if they have it. Chop. So the allure of faking out a ghost type, you know? They might still live this. Yeah. Did that say badly poisoned? So, kind of walk through that one. Does mean though that I've got a double power stomping tantrum and a water stop equip. Double power stomping. Doesn't KO, even with a crit, which is kinda crazy. I was getting a little scared there for sure. So I think here... yeah, we gotta start splitting our targeting. We gotta get rid of Torkoal, and then we'll just break the Chopple if they have it. Alright, so GG's. Yeah. They hid their name. That was a tough guy there. Tough guy Johnson. Nice. We are out here. It just gives me the VP because I already bought that. We definitely have plays here, I'm gonna be honest. So I get that. I'm gonna go for a kinda awkward play. So I'm expecting them to go for like Twin Beam or a Sphere or something. Please tell me this doesn't KO. Oh. Unfortunate. Ugh, jeez. Okay, we're trying to get me cheese here. So I should have brought out Garchomp the turn earlier, kind of. But GG's. Yelserada had a more favorable matchup in this endgame. Very unfortunate. So that I did not expect. And technically should have called. So we could replace Ensign with Imprison Trick Room for Rigorap. This is fine. Sorry, I had the hiccup-uppers. We do have to be careful. Yeah, this can get very scary. So I do still feel like we have not necessarily figured out the best last Pokemon for this team. Yeah, so I don't know. Feels like we're close. So this is kind of what I was worried about, is I don't know if we have an answer to the storm reaction. And in a weird way, this is why I wouldn't mind bringing Helios or something back. Be careful. Not clicking tailwind. So I would say here, I mean, only one they can have the sash, obviously, right? But that's on for them. Let's go for this sludge bomb. This could bite us. Alright. So that's a still does a lot. So technically that's a suboptimal play, but we do have our sash on Rimstone. So we may have blast words. Yeah. Alright. So solid stuff there for sure. I don't even know what the badges are, but they look cool. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I think when I see So what was I saying? Yeah, I mean, like, we could run Healy List if we really wanted. We would just be running it without Sash. So ideally something more like Rotom, yeah. Definitely interesting for sure. Yeah, I think this should be our best. I don't love this lead for this, but like, it's okay. But just quick tailwind. Miss the wisp, even worse for them. I'm not gonna encore them into it. I know it seems like a good play. I'd rather deal with this Tyranitar. Or whatever. Sinistra. Still stomping. I mean, I have a lot of trouble believing that that was actually like damage boosted doing that. Yeah. So I think now I protect, right? Yeah. I think we got this one. So I do think there's the concern that they're gonna KO us with Rock Slide here, but I don't think it wins them. And if we do live the +7 shift, which I think we can, possibly, that's going to be pretty big for us. Never mind, I misspoke. It's not necessarily over, but I did make a mistake. So now we bring in Blasters. My concern there was if they can KO my Meowscarada, it gets a little scary, right? But now it should just be fake out here. And then next turn, like Water Spout Loki. So like I said, fake out, low kick, water spout. Should do it. So yeah, like I'm just not sure how that would have gone if they didn't return. That's the problem. Because yeah, I'd have to watch it back, but it does feel like I had to make a pretty heavy read there. And reads like that are not always gonna pay off. So fun game. I am gonna call it there for the night. I guess I will give you guys the rental code since we've been using this team for quite some time. What do I want to say about the team though? Like, I do think that Gengar could be replaced by like Dragapult, by like a Steel type or an Electric type. So yeah, those were kind of the things that I was thinking just when playing the team. Like, I don't have the electric type that I feel like I would like to have at the moment in the game. And then Hisui and Gudra, I technically think could be good, but it's kind of like, eh. I don't really want to do Skarmory. Technically, obviously, Sneasler is like the go-to, but like, I don't want to just use Sneasler, right? You know what I'm saying? But like, we should be putting Sneasler in the Gengar slot, if anything. And in that case, yeah, Sneasler, Gengar, or like a Steel type or Dragapult, definitely are all the, or an Electric type, right? Are all the things that I feel like would fit the team right now. What can we send back to home? We can temporarily send back this Dragonite. Interesting stuff. Yeah. So definitely nothing that meets the eye here. Ooh, you know what I could do is try to do an affinity thing and see if I can pull like an interesting electric type or something. You do have an electric right there. That's cool. So here's what I want to try to do before I end, because I've never done this. Gave us. Okay, it gave us Luxray, Dedenne, and Stunfisk, so definitely nothing that we can really make good use out of there. Like, I'm sure I could try, quote unquote, to make Luxray good, but yeah, nothing to really shake a stick at there. Sharpedo. My man, Galar Slowbro. I actually like Galar Slowbro's typing. And I wouldn't mind, I'll be honest, trying quick claw, quick draw. I think it's funny. So I will say that. Quinn's having a dream. Having a dream. Okay, it doesn't matter. What type is Trick Room? There it is. Alright, that'll be fun. Quick draw, quick claw. So here is the team that we've been using for today's matches. We definitely never figured out the sixth slot completely. Like, the Gengar works. I do think that it has like the surprise factor of the Psychic into Sneasler and then pinning things with the Encore Lock, etc. But we also talked about like Ninetales. Maybe we could change the Scarf to Ninetales and then have like an Icy Wind plus Garchomp lead, etc. Right? But Garchomp with the Scarf has actually been really good on this team. So yeah, we talked about like Ninetales, something of an electric type, a steel type, like Dragapult. So maybe like even Goodra or like King Gambit or something, obviously. But we did just get a Galar Slowbro, which could be kind of funny as well, even though we don't have a super strong Trick Room version of the team. I just think Galar Slowbro is funny, so there's that. And it also has Ice Beam. But I actually think this version of the team works pretty decently. Like, if anything, we could maybe get like Taunt Gengar, if Taunt Gengar is a thing. And then we could make sure that we can deal with Brigrass. But I would have to give away Protect, and that does not necessarily feel good. It just feels like what I have to do, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like I will literally double taunt them turn one if I have to, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so the team generally, I think, likes to start like Wims Blastoise, Wims Garchomp, something like that. Like, I don't actually bring Incin to that many matchups, but it can do things. Other than that, like, technically, Incin Gengar is a good lead, like Wims Gengar, right? But if you look at the team, it definitely does like to go fast and hit hard. And then we kind of just have these supporting Incin, right? So it was fun. I do want to see really quick just like there. Don't count yet. Alright, so here is a final version of that team we were just using. I do think that Gengar kind of needs taunt so that we can pin Farigirafs a little bit more effectively, because Kangaskhan Farigiraf actually is a pretty viable Trick Room lead, and while we can try to counter it with like Instant Blastoise and like hoping that Dark Pulse does enough or something, right? Like, or I guess knock off Meowscarada or something weird, right? It just doesn't feel consistent enough, and most people are not running Mental Herb right now. So like, if you really need to versus a Kangaskhan Giraffe lead, you can just double taunt them, and I think that works pretty decently. But besides that, like, yeah. You definitely have the ability to leap out Gengar in certain matchups where you feel like not having Protect would be like really bad, you know what I mean? So I think that works, and we definitely did never figure out like what would be best in the Gengar slot. Like, we considered the Ninetales maybe with the Scarf with Icy Wind and stuff, but the Scarf Garchomp had been pretty good. Maybe even like Orthworm. Technically Sneasler looks like it should be there, right? But like a Steel type or an Electric type would be nice, so even like Kingambit, Hisui, and Gudra. Maybe not the Heliolisk because we really want Wims to have the stash, but the Citrus Berry on Meowscarada has actually been very nice for dealing with when you lock into Earthquake. It does feel sometimes like Sucker Punch would be better than Knockoff, so I will say that. But, it works, right? And the team is definitely kind of geared for the fast mode, right? You know what I mean? We really only have Insane having min speed, and then everything else having, you know, full speed, full attack. So, you know, we're aggressive, and I actually think that the Meowscarada has been pretty interesting on this team. Like, we're technically just using it because it's a good grass type, right? But having the ability to not be locked into something and then to click like the Flower Trick and then the low kick, right, has been nice. But it does feel sometimes like having Detect would be really nice. So I will say, technically, if we can take off Triple Axle or Low Kick, that might be the best final adjustment. So we'll think about some of that. But for now, hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and have a good